What is up guys, my name is Jack Gardiner and today I am going to be sharing with you 10 of my personal presets on the GT-1000. I've had this thing for a couple of months now and I tend to use it on pretty much all of my gigs. It's really handy, especially for fly gigs when I'm not too sure what amp's going to turn up or what kind of backline they have. This eliminates that problem. I can just plug straight into the desk if need be and it sounds wicked. So yeah, with each one of these 10 presets then, I'm going to show you what's going on in terms of what we can add to it with Control 1 and Control 2. They all have extra functions on there. I'm going to play some examples unaccompanied so you can hear what the patch sounds like by itself. And then I'm going to play basically in a mix with a backing track so that gives you an idea of what it sounds like in a track, if you like. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive straight in then to patch number 1. Okay, so patch number 1, I've called this F-type clean. I'm sure you can imagine why that is. I think the amp I'm using is maybe a deluxe combo, it sounds wicked. But yeah, it's just basically a multi-purpose clean amp. On Control 1 we have a compression feature and on Control 2 we have the delay, so you can turn that off if you want. But let's just hear what it sounds like first by itself. Sounds wicked. I mean, without the compression though, let's just have a listen. I'll turn off Control 2 and Control 1. So this is it, just the clean sound by itself. Compression on. There's just a lot more body there now, you know, it works really well, especially to stand out in the mix. And then obviously without delay, we still have reverb built into the patch, but this is what it sounds like. So if you want to add a bit of delay, it can work for kind of a nice lead sound. So let's have a listen to that. So yeah, I mean, it sounds wicked. But let's hear that now in the context of a mix then. Okay, so patch 2, I've called this one Breakup Blues. Now, I'm sure you can imagine why. It's basically a clean amp that's been driven really hard. Well, that's what I'm trying to emulate anyway, and it gives off a really nice feel. You know, it's that authentic blues sound to my ears anyway. Let's just hear what that sounds like then, the patch by itself. It works great for leads or for basically like company ideas. So I mean, let's just hear a few different sounds. So on control 1, I've basically added like a blues type overdrive in front of it, and it sounds like this. It's just a bit more gain there, it feels a bit nicer to play with as well. And then on control 2, I actually have an octave fuzz. Now this thing, it just sounds nasty, I love it, it's perfect for just crazy fuzz sounds, so let's hear that. A really, really cool sound. I do enjoy playing around with that. But yeah, I mean, you've heard it by itself. Let's hear it then in the context of a mix. This is kind of like a 12-bar shuffle. So patch number 3, I've called this 80s CC chorus. Now the reason for this is because one of the gigs which I play on is with an 80s pop band called China Crisis, who, I mean, back in the day were absolutely massive. You know, they were produced by guys like Walter Becker from Steely Dan. But yeah, the tone which Eddie, the other guitarist, actually uses was a Roland JC120. So, I mean, luckily in the GT-1000 there is actually one of these amps in there. Now, for that gig, I basically studied what was going on with Eddie's rig. So he uses one of these JC120s, and then he's got a Boss delay pedal with a tap tempo, and that is literally it. So what I'm trying to do here is emulate his setup as much as possible, seeing as he played most of the guitars on the original album. There is, on Control 2, just a bit of a boost. The guys who were playing on those albums would have used a little bit of gain. It's not necessarily the gain that we think of when we think of like blues or rock or anything like that. It's just a little bit of an edge to the tone. Still with chorus and all that, it's very, very 80s. So yeah, I mean, this is it by itself. You've got this. Now, with the kind of overdrive pedal on in front of it, this is what it sounds like. Now on Control 1, I've literally set this up as a tap tempo, which is exactly what Eddie uses. He keeps it really straightforward. So on the gig, I'll see him, depending on the tune, he'll just set his delay for a different tempo. Yeah, you've heard this by itself. Let's hear it now in the context of a mix then. Patch number 4 then is called Rotary Blues, and I'm sure you can imagine why it's called this. Yeah, I mean, let's just listen to what it sounds like first, and I think this sounds really cool. Now on control 1 then, I basically added on an effect which is called overtones. It simply seems to add harmonics on the top. It sounds really cool. It feels like there's an octave kind of effect on there. And then on the control 2, I've added a chorus. If you put them both on, it actually sounds really cool. Let's have a listen to this. Way cool and loads of fun to play around with. But yeah, I mean, let's hear what that sounds like then in a mix then. Okay, so patch number 5, I've called this Fred lead. Now, this is actually based on one of my favourite amps. It's kind of like a modern Marshall, if you like. I'm sure you can imagine what amp I'm trying to convey here. But yeah, that's the way I've kind of set it up in the pedal as well. It's basically like a high gain British amp. It's the staple sound, you know. So yeah, I mean, let's just hear what the patch sounds like then without any of the control functions on. Now on control 2 then, we actually have a delay, and this just makes it a bit more comfortable, especially considering that it's a lead kind of patch. Let's just listen to that a little bit. Now on control 1 then, I've actually put a wah on this just to add a bit of kind of the 80s vibe to it. Let's just hear what that sounds like. Now that's all well and good, but yeah, let's hear what this sounds like in a mix then. So I've actually gone for a split coil sound on this one. Just gives it a bit more of a modern edge, I guess. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this one. Moving on then to patch number 6. This one I've called Acoustic plus Shim. I'm sure you can imagine what this is. It's basically just an acoustic simulator. Now this is especially handy for gigs where it's just me and a singer. You know, if I can only take one guitar with me, it tends to be an electric, because that's going to be what I play on most. This kind of eliminates the need for an acoustic guitar, if you like. It sounds really cool. So yeah, let's just hear what that sounds like by itself first. Sounds just like an acoustic to me. But yeah, let's put on the reverb then. I actually really love this reverb. It's got a huge ambience to it. Now on Control 2, there's a compressor as well that just helps beef up the sound. But let's hear what this sounds like in a mix then. Okay, so this next patch is called Lo-Fi Clean, and this is something that's really popular at the minute. I'm sure you've seen on YouTube, it's probably been recommended to you, where it says, you know, chill wave, or, you know, lo-fi hip-hop to chill to do your homework to, or to sleep to. It's this kind of sound anyway. It's supposed to emulate like broken tape machines and things like this. But I found a way to do it in the GT-1000 that sounds quite legit, if I'm honest. It's the perfect sound for it. So yeah, let's just hear what that sounds like. So even without the whammy bar action there, you can hear that kind of pitch shift modulation. It sounds wicked. On Control 1 with this then, I just have a compressor, and on Control 2, it's just controlling the delay. I don't think I'm ready to show you what they sound like. Let's just hear it in context of a mix then. this next patch, this one I've called it Neo Soul Noir. This is kind of inspired by guys like Tom Misch. He's an amazing player, amazing songwriter from down in London. And yeah, I mean, basically he's kind of repopularized this tone, I would say, and he uses it all the time. I've just basically tried to emulate that. I think it's a wicked effect. Let's just hear what it sounds like by itself. Okay, so on control 1, that basically just turns off the touch wah and you've got a lovely clean set. And let's just hear what that sounds like very quickly. Really kind of versatile clean, really. I've kind of lent on the neo soul genre because that's what some of the gigs I have to play are like. But yeah, I mean, that's a lovely sounding clean. It can be used for a few different scenarios, shall we say. And then on control 2 then, let's turn on the touch wah again first on control 1. And on control 2, we have the overdrive pedal again, which just gives it a bit more bite and a bit more gain. Let's hear that. Sounds wicked. It's worth pointing out that you could actually use this if you want to get kind of funky. I guess it's got a real kind of snap to it, especially when you're playing 16s. I mean, listen to this. This is without the overdrive, by the way, so control 2 turned off. Endless amounts of fun really with this patch. So yeah, let's hear that then in context with a mix. Okay, so with this next patch then, I've called this one Octave Funk. Now, really I'm trying to emulate players like Mark Lettieri with this kind of stuff. I think it's a really cool effect, especially if you're just, you know, like solo guitar with a singer, or maybe you don't have a bass player, it's just keys, guitar, drums. It fits in really well. Just having that octave, that lower sound, I mean, it sounds wicked. So yeah, I mean, the sound by itself then, this is kind of what it should be like. Now on control 1, you've just got a compressor, and then on control 2, I think it's actually a phaser that I've put on this, so let's just hear what they sound like both on. Very, very funky, yeah. But again, let's hear that in context with a mix then. So guys, this is the final patch. This is low gain lead. Now this is probably one which I use more than all of the others really. It's my go-to lead sound. I'm not a guy that likes a load of gain. I actually prefer less. I prefer the dynamics that you can get out of using less gain in your lead sounds. So yeah, I mean, let's take a listen to what this sounds like by itself first. Sounds wicked, not just for the single line stuff, it actually works really well with your chordal playing. So yeah, what have I got then on the controls? Well, control 1 is just a touch wah. I mean, if you listen to the earlier patch, I love that sound. I'm not going to play it for you now, it's just if you want to have a bit of fun. But on control 2 then, I actually have a mid boost. Now this just gives the impression that you've got a bit more gain really, even though it's just an EQ. It sounds wicked if you just want that extra bit of bite or boost in your solo. So yeah, let's hear what that sounds like. This is control 2 on. Sounds wicked. Finally guys, let's listen then to this patch in context of a track. Many thanks for checking these tones out then guys. All of these patches will be available at the Boss Tone Studio, so please do check them out if you do have a GT-1000. I think they sound wicked. Anyway, until next time guys, cheers.